What's up? Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up. What's going on, Bears fans? Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Greg Braggs Jr. made it in the snow. Congratulations. First to Braggs.
Braggs.
I did it.
Braggs. Crossing state lines in the snow, doing whatever he can to help out CHGO/this show. God bless you.
I had the sled dogs. No, actually, it's not even that bad. I can't believe I even brought this up this morning in the meeting because, like, I crossed state lines and you guys didn't get snow like we did. So it's like it's more like raining outside.
It's sloppy. They call us heart attack snow in shoveling parlance.
That's true. It is going to be a tough shovel because
Yeah.
it's wet and heavy.
I don't know. When I walked out my door, it was pouring down snow, and I instantly made the decision that I wasn't going to drive, and then I got on the L, and then I sat on the L for a good 15 minutes. Then I got off the L. Then I was going to be in a full sprint here, and then I saw a cab, and then I got in it. It was a very expensive commute for me today, but
You cabbed it.
I made it. Two modes of transportation to get 1.3 miles, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, considering you're the closest to the studio, and
I
you're
live
the
here.
last one here.
I know. I used to be the first every single day.
Yeah, what happened to that? I feel like there's been some loafing on the
I know
car.
the answer to that, then I'm not going to share it publicly.
Okay.
That's not it. That's not it. Right now, we if we want to blame anything,
Tennis
we can,
camp is not actually a tennis camp?
No. I mean,
He's breaking
listen,
down Northwestern Wildcat basketball tape.
It was fun to be on the
So
show
who is
yesterday.
the question?
But yeah, Poppy the puppy, who I have right now, is impacting my life at times in the greatest ways possible, and sometimes perhaps not augmenting my commute.
Does Poppy like the snow?
Poppy loves the snow. Poppy had a great dance in the snow. I'll send you a little clip of the snow. Maybe we'll play that at the very end of
Letty
the
Bear was doing some snow angels this morning.
Right.
She
I'll
loves
make
it.
I'll make a deal with you. Maybe Braggs will be in on this too, maybe Lawrence, but we will trade you our children for Poppy the puppy.
See, I was thinking about that today, actually. How do people with, like, really full lives do this? like seriously.
It's tricky.
Well, you remember right before the show started, and you were like,
Not here yet?
how's everybody doing or whatever, and I was like, I want to be in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, Hoge's in a miserable mood right now.
Am I though?
You've just
You know?
you flipped it on,
We
but
flipped the switch, but yeah.
5 minutes ago you were terrible.
Well,
How's everybody doing?
Well, I commend
look
people that
outside.
have
It's just miserable.
more
here.
than one kid. We had one, and we're like, all right, we've retired.
Oh, yeah, I'm on team one and done. 100%.
Team one, right here. One.
Team one and done.
One
Oh, yeah, for
kid.
those of you watching, we just found that our balloon, it was down the stairs. It's still fully inflated.
I'm so impressed.
Will it last till the draft?
I thought somebody like threw it in the garbage or something.
Absolutely not.
It's fully inflated.
Didn't you buy this with your own Hoge dollars?
I did.
And it was expensive, was it not?
That balloon costs.
Wasn't that $40?
It costs $18 if you include the weight that it's tied to.
$18 for Justin
And like
Fields
most
and
people
that
would
day.
just use it for. Well, careful, your water.
We're good. Red Solo cup, you fill me
Well,
up.
and most people would pay for that for like a 1-year-old's birthday party, and they wouldn't even know it's a balloon because they're one. We at least get to use it for the whole off season.
Yeah, I mean, it probably will be here until
We'll
July.
get our money's worth out of this thing.
The weird thing is the number 2 balloon is at my house, and it's like
Well, keep it
it's
because
still
the
inflated.
Bears.
It's inflated enough that it's at the top of my ceiling, but it's definitely halfway gone. I can't believe that thing looks like it was just blown up 5 minutes ago.
Well, you should definitely keep it in case the Bears trade back to 2.
point.
It's underrated that Hoge made the effort to bring the 2 balloon back home for
Maybe go buy a
Well,
9 balloon because the Bears could trade back to 9.
back to 9.
Yeah, if they trade back to 9, I'm not going to buy a 9. Someone else can.
I'd buy
well,
the 9.
the effort wasn't. It was actually my kids screaming for 2 days. Where'd the other balloon go? I want to play with it.
Oh, okay. Still good. It's still good dadding. What's up, Max Power 514?
Max Power.
$5 super chat. Hope
His
you're having a
name
great week, boys.
Is Max.
A little off topic. Have you heard any nuggets about the Cardinals possibly looking to trade back at all? I have not, but I have not exactly been reading the Arizona Cardinals.
His name is a name you'd want to touch. But you mustn't touch.
They don't even have a coach right
You
now.
don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?
No one
Max
does.
Power. It's from The
Not-
Simpsons.
Yeah. He was the billionaire, right?
I'm really
Yes.
sorry. No, I don't remember Max Power from
Yes.
The Simpsons. I do remember Mike Lansing and Judd Donaldson and everybody else at Iowa at 4 o'clock watching The Simpsons and getting very high in their apartment where they were selling pounds and pounds of weed and never got caught. I
my
hope that
gosh.
doesn't get them in trouble 30 years
I
later.
don't think it will.
Good point from Matthew, too. He pointed out that I'm a White Sox fan, so
Yeah,
got that
nobody's
going on, too.
nobody's perfect.
No, but he's talking about my mood. I will say that yesterday was very
Sucked.
depressing
Just another
day to be the White
glorious day in White Sox franchise.
Well, at
history.
least we're not Jared Reinsdorf, though, because our baseball team had that day, and then the basketball team had that game.
Ugh.
Now we got to bring them up.
I hear you on a certain podcast talking smack about Purdue basketball. I'm listening. I'm listening.
You went on a Badger podcast and taunted the
No.
Boilermakers?
I don't even remember. I honestly don't know.
You
what
and
he's talking
Johnsy talking about Purdue. I got you.
Wow,
I'm waiting
Hoge.
for you.
I
You're
don't
in my
remember
scopes.
this at all.
Well,
I can't.
Does Braggs have receipts?
I got it.
Purdue sucks?
Yeah. I'll play it later. I'll put it on Twitter.
Okay.
It's weird seeing Braggs have passions for things other than Bears football. Like, it doesn't compute for me.
Well, here's
You
the
should
thing.
only care about the Bears.
I don't know how people. There are people that only like football. I find that crazy. Like I got to go through the seasons. The winds of change. Baseball's upon us. Getting close.
You know what I'm learning about you, by the way, and I want to get into our topic in a second here, but
I'm sure.
Braggs is like, he's kind of got big vocabulary. Have you noticed this?
No.
What word did you bust out in the meeting today? You were like, you used like a ubiquitous, or you used he used something big this morning.
My mom was an English
There
major.
it is. There it is.
You know,
I knew it.
And I got a lot of my vocabulary from TV. I do have a.
You have big
extended-
vocab.
I do have an extended vocabulary.
He's got big vocab. You know, brick by brick ain't just brick by brick. Vocab by vocab.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Oh, that's what I said. Thank you, Matthew.
I did notice it, buddy. That's what I'm talking about.
Got you.
All right, should we do this?
Real quick before we get to Isaac. So, this did
If we
come.
don't talk about Bears soon,
I
they're
just
gonna
get
run me
nervous.
and Mark.
Well,
out
here's
of here.
actually what I'm going to. How many likes we got on this show? I don't
24.
have it.
We will not talk Bears until this hits 50
We
likes.
have 24 likes. That's ridiculous. How many people are watching right now?
It's 25.
Okay. We're not talking about the Bears until there's 100
You are
likes.
going to hear about
Wow.
Mark's tennis matchup until this hits.
You can't do that to our most loyal people.
I can too. No, okay, here's what happened. By the way,
35 in a
Because
second.
I can too.
By the way, if a college sports comes up on the Hoge and Johns podcast, it's definitely either me bringing it up or John's shitting all over it. 'Cause
It was you.
he doesn't
You
care.
said, "Oh, well, Purdue, great, they're number one."
quotes right there. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah.
I said, enjoy being number one while it lasts. Purdue will still lose to Wisconsin at some point this season.
Yes.
Is
that's
that an
what-
incorrect statement?
Matthew Gregory deserves something. Does anybody want 2 tickets to Northwestern Minnesota on Saturday? I've got 2. I want to give them. I want to give them to a CHGO listener. There's got to be somebody who wants to go to Evanston. 11 a.m. You can stop by Walker Brothers, have some pancakes. You can go to where I used to bartend at Myers Tavern afterwards, have a cheeseburger.
I mean,
Come on,
just
do you want them?
send me to Buff Joe's, man. I want
Buff
the
Joe's
wings.
great. There's lots of options at
the wings.
Evanston. I got 2. Anybody who DMs me,
Hey,
I
Isaac
got
threw
you.
this. This is. I don't know if this is actually Bears related. If we can talk about this or not, but he.
Well,
did
we're getting
throw us
close.
a
We're at
$10
74
super
likes.
chat.
This is working.
That's a great job by you.
Like, for the love of God.
Well, I think it was Kevin Kaduk said that like Jay Zawoski does this on the Blackhawk show.
I'll be honest. When I do a Blackhawks show and I see the percentages of likes to viewers,
Yeah.
it is way higher
On Blackhawk.
than here in
But
Bears land.
isn't it true that he like holds people hostage until people hit the like button?
They are playing a game where they're since they of course are also tanking. They're the original tankers in the city. They're playing a game where they spin the wheel for like the draft lottery, whatever, to see who gets the first pick, and they'll spin it multiple times if more people like the show.
We don't have to spin that here, baby. Number one.
Yeah, we're number
Celebrate it.
Numero uno.
There it is.
Numero uno. We don't play that Blackhawks game. We just go straight forward in the last week of the season and make it the most dramatic thing that could possibly happen. I seem to remember a video with a guy that had
We can answer this super chat, though.
intercourse with a bear on set.
It was just a hug. Come on.
No. That was more than a hug.
It was a very intimate
It was
hug.
more than a more.
There
than
was
a hug.
definitely at least
blow
one
up bear.
There was one thrust for sure.
That reminds me of the Key and Peele skit where if you where the referees and if you thrust more than twice, you get a flag.
I'm gonna get
Correct.
blamed for this too. Braggs comes on and you're not talking Bears.
No one's blaming you for anything. Everyone is in love with you. You are the very backbone of this show.
Why when you bring Braggs on?
Isaac said, okay, we can address the super chat, though. He says, hey, guys, something that maybe gets overlooked with the retool of the roster is the possibility of adding talent from the USFL and XFL. I know the talent level is lower, but thoughts, guys? It seems like every year there's one guy from the Canadian Football League or the XFL or I guess the XFL is just restarting again this year. But there were a couple guys from the USFL that made it.
You know what that super chat, thank you, Isaac,
hate
makes
me.
me think of? Last year at this time, I was like, can Justin Fields go play in the USFL and just get some reps? That's what I was thinking about. Get him. Can we just do that? Have him play a couple of games? I would say the same thing now for a couple of our offensive linemen, perhaps.
You're saying
You guys just wanted him to, sit the last month of the season. Now you want him to go play for a team that's not the Bears?
He says all sorts of crazy things.
Last year he needed reps, and I'm like, why can't he just play in the USFL for a little while? Let's do that. Obviously, that was a terrible idea. I mean,
remember early in the season, who was the backup for the Cowboys that Mark was like, would we rather
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush.
Yes.
Now we're back to that. Yesterday or the day before, you're talking about Brock Purdy.
Cooper Rush had played, they wouldn't have lost to the damn
Brock
49ers.
Purdy does things better than Justin. Come on now.
Carm would trade Justin Fields for Brock Purdy right now.
The 49ers are going to go into this weekend wishing upon everything that they had Justin Fields as their quarterback.
Apparently, Mr. Vocab is just not completely able to comprehend the genius, nuanced takes that I give. All I said is that Brock Purdy is better at going through his progressions right now, which is it's really not even an opinion. I would call that a fact.
I would actually agree with you.
Well, I mean, do I have to tell you why it's easier or why he's doing it better? You know why, right?
Don't tell me this. It's just because he has more time.
I am telling you.
Okay, well, you could say that, and then
I
you
am
could
gonna
go
say
back.
that.
You can also go back in time, and when he was at Ohio State, the knock on Fields was that he was slow going through his progressions. That is the same knock. Did he have time in college? Did he have the greatest receivers in the history of Ohio State at the time? I don't want this to be a negative on Fields. I'm just telling you that when you look, there's Brock Purdy would not be sitting here in the NFC Championship game with his arm strength and mobility if he wasn't really, really good at something. And so clearly he's good at that. You have to give the guy some credit
I'm
here.
giving no credit.
Okay, you're giving no credit.
Are you guys
Three-time Big 12 Player of the Year there, buddy.
Three-time.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the Big 12 sucks. That's what that means to me.
You got to stop bragging about what his accomplishments in the Big 12, where they don't play defense.
I'm sorry, what schools are in the Big 12?
Well, soon to not be Oklahoma and Texas. Hey, the Bear 85, I screwed up. The
Oklahoma and Texas.
Max Powers was Homer's his fancy name from. He took his fancy name from a blow dryer. I screwed up who Max Power was in The Simpsons.
Oh.
Still don't know any of these references.
Yeah, well, I don't know why you weren't watching The Simpsons. It's only been on for like 30 years.
The Simpsons never did it for me.
Oh, come on.
I was never a Simpsons guy.
You don't like having fun?
Thank you, DeBears85. Chris Peguero, he says, Carm, fly me out and I'll come with you to that Northwestern game. I live in Fort Worth.
Matt Gregory's like 8 more likes, guys. He's
What's
like, for the love of God.
I've got
any Southwest flights that?
Chris I've got a lot of miles on Southwest for you, Chris. Let me do the if literally nobody else comes in, I'll fly Peguero in for that game. How's that?
Oh, Jesus.
I am putting will you wear purple? I need you wearing purple and white. Let's go. Can't be rooting for the Golden Gophers.
And then
not Minnesota.
we just hit 100, and that is perfect because
we go.
This last super chat that we've already gotten. Thank you, the Pigskin Project, for the $4.99er. Why isn't anyone talking about the possibility of the Buccaneers trading up to number 1 for a QB following TB12's exit? Mike Evans to the Bears.
Because they're going to get Derek Carr, but that's not a terrible comment.
No, I mean, I definitely think there's surprise teams lurking.
There's like 14 teams that need a quarterback.
Like the Bucs or the Jets. I think the Jets are an interesting one that not too many people are talking about, to trade up and give a haul. I think that's the kind of things that could happen here.
Which is good for the Bears.
It is. All right, let's get to today's topic, though, because we could talk about trading up.
And we will.
Literally every day. We probably will every day.
Until that number 1 balloon is no longer floating off the ground.
True.
What is that, April 28th? How many days? How many days until the draft?
49 till free agency, which is March 15th.
Well, between now and then, the Bears can extend any players they want that are, currently on their roster or going into free agency. They could sign David Montgomery tonight if they wanted to, and Braggs would cry. But they could do it.
Riot. I would riot.
You don't want David Montgomery signed?
No, just so I can make fun of Adam. Other than that, I'm fine with.
I didn't know this was a thing. Did this start today? Keep going. Sorry.
Carm just proved he didn't listen to one post-game show the entire season. You didn't know the Montgomery thing was a thing between us?
Yeah, it's been a thing.
Apparently, I wasn't here.
Yeah.
During any game the entire season?
You were
or post-game show?
Was it there or was it here?
Both.
Both.
Basically nonstop.
I wasn't listening. The only thing
This is the funniest thing ever.
The only thing I remember is that you love David Montgomery and you hate David Montgomery. Are we sure? Are we talking about Montgomery or Mooney?
Montgomery.
No, that was somehow in my head. I had Mooney.
Oh man.
So now I'm here. I was talking about Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney changed agents. Darnell Mooney. Did you not say Darnell Mooney first? You said Montgomery.
I said nothing.
So what we've just learned is
talking.
that Mark Carman is not listening right now.
So he wasn't listening all season and is not listening.
I was listening all season. I just wasn't listening now. Is what just got proved.
Okay.
That's what just happened. I'm with you now. I'm sorry. I was looking for a little.
Yeah, what are you doing over there?
I was looking for a nugget.
Okay.
Continue on.
Okay, well, Karn put out a poll on the CHGO Bears
that I
account
did.
earlier today.
That I did.
Of the 4 obvious players that are going into year 4, the last year of their rookie deal, which one would you extend first? Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, or Jalen Johnson? And the results of that poll, should have had ready.
You were asking.
No, go ahead. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Cole Kmet.
Really?
I mean, depending on because I'm assuming he wouldn't necessarily break the bank, so you'd get ahead of it before he has a potential career year next year that we hope for every year with Cole Kmet. But at the same time, we were talking about it on CHGO Bears After Dark on Monday. He was 4th in the NFL in touchdowns for a tight end. Yep. This was a team that had trouble scoring touchdowns. So that's a pretty good year by all accounts. And then if you also just go off of what Ryan Poles said in the press conference when the season ended, and he highlighted Cole Kmet as a leader on this team. So it's not even just like what I would prefer, but what I predict. Of those 4, I think Cole Kmet is the most likely to get extended.
That's interesting because this is a 2-part question for everyone in the chat. Who do you think they will, and who would you and who do you think they will extend? So you're saying both.
I just threw a poll in our YouTube chat. It's who should get the extension first.
Good enough.
Which is the same poll we have on Twitter.
Correct. I copied and pasted basically.
And right now, Jalen Johnson's leading with 46.6% of the votes. Cole Kmet second with 35%. Then Darnell Mooney 16.5%, and then Chase Claypool getting 1.9. He's the independent candidate that you see.
Yeah, not many precincts reporting yet here on YouTube, but 58% is Cole Kmet. I'm sorry, 54 now.
Yeah, we got nearly 1,700 votes on Twitter. The thing's been out for an hour. So thank you to our Twitter audience, Twitter engagement. We were debating not putting Claypool on there, but we put Claypool on there just to underline how bad of a trade the Claypool trade was. No offense to Ryan Poles and or you, Greg Braggs, who I see you moving around.
I want to believe in that trade,
know,
so I'm not out on it yet.
Yeah,
Like
I don't think Bears fans in general are out on it. I don't think Adam Hoge is out on it. Are you out on it?
On Claypool?
Yeah.
He's
Well,
close.
there's no reason to be out on it. That would be idiotic. You've already made the trade. What are you going to do, cut him?
Not even out on it. I'm just saying.
Trade him again.
For what?
A 4th-round pick.
Oof.
Who's doing that?
I'm just saying.
Probably no one, but
When I say out on it, I mean, do you believe it will go down as a terrible trade by the Bears no matter what? It's not going to end well, period.
Are you saying?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Are you saying that no one would give you a 4th for Claypool?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Do you think they would?
Yes, but I'm not saying you're totally wrong. And but if that is the case, just imagine if that. Then think about how bad the deal is if that actually is the case.
Well, and that's why I'm saying I think you're better off hoping that an offseason in the system with Justin Fields at least produces results similar to what he was doing in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
They better.
but
But he's not getting an extension.
No chance. I think if you really heard what Ryan Poles said in his press conference too, Ryan Poles said he's not getting an extension.
Correct.
I like AUG3R. I am dude's a bum. Way to cut to the chase there, AUG. I don't know why that does something for me on this Wednesday in the middle of this.
Related to Grobstein somehow.
Bum of the week, Claypool.
He is a bum.
He came over here and had 3 catches. Well, he actually had 11. Whatever. He sucks.
So here, going off my grades, this is what I'll tell you right now what I would do. I would, first of all, none of these guys graded out as long-term starters this year, which is notable because that's usually the case.
Jalen Johnson didn't grade out as a long-term starter?
Jalen Johnson. This is going to put me in a tough position.
That does not seem right, Adam Hoge. We
Um,
might need a substitute teacher on these grades, or at least on the Johnson part of it.
wow.
Jalen Johnson's not a long-term starter because he doesn't have enough takeaways. Is that why?
It's part of it.
What else? He got hurt and was bad a couple games?
Dude, he had great first 2 weeks of the season. Then he missed 3 straight games. I think people forget, didn't play well against the Dolphins, didn't play well against the Lions.
He was hurt in that Dolphins game, but okay.
True.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers called Jalen Johnson elite, according to Robert Ben 80.
Yeah.
I mean,
Aaron Rodgers.
I think you have no choice but to lock down Jalen Johnson for my answer to the question. I don't know if they will because they have this weird – I don't know if it's weird, but they have this focus on takeaways, and he doesn't necessarily do that. However, when he's healthy, teams don't throw at him. I'd say that's a pretty enormous value.
And I just laugh at the idea that the secondary should have done better than they did with the pass rush that was non-existent. They did pretty damn good
Yeah.
with the front 7 that's in front of them. Normally, when you have a front 7 like the Bears do, the secondary is getting shredded. And I wouldn't say they got shredded. In fact, I thought they improved and battled, until the final 2 weeks of the season.
Jalen's also emerging, if not fully, leader in that locker room now. Would you agree?
I think so.
I think he's very consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get. There's not a lot of fluff there. I trust him. I don't think he's going away if he gets paid.
Please don't tell me about how they're not throwing at him. He has 1 interception in 3 years.
Oh.
Kyler Gordon had 2 in 1 game.
Okay.
I mean, at some point you have to have the interceptions to back it up.
Okay, well, Matt Eberflus just popped onto the set here, and I think
But it's true.
Flus is making a good point.
This is 100% part of the, if part of wasn't part of the thing with Roquan that he didn't take the ball away enough or something like that?
Yeah. And then he went to Baltimore and played well, and they won games, and he got paid. I don't know.
But the point is, if you're not going to extend one guy because you got to take the ball away.
Stick to the plan.
Are you going to – I think it's a part of the argument. I think when they sit down at the negotiating table, don't you think the Bears are going, you have one interception in 3 years? That comes up.
Oh, it's definitely going to come up in what they'll pay him.
Right. And that's what goes into this discussion. Do I think Jalen Johnson's a good player? Yeah. But is it going to take the right deal to want to re-sign him? Yeah, because are you going to pay him like a top corner in the league? No. And that's the same with like Mooney and same with Kmet. Claypool's off the table. He's got to prove it next year. But the other guys, like with the right deal, yeah, I'd be totally fine extending those guys. But the right deal is the operative word.
Well, and to Nomad's point here, what Hoge just said is the reason they'll be willing to trade Jalen. If they're not going to extend these guys, but for the record, if they're really not, if they're sitting there, and I think they might extend all of them, or at least a couple of them. But if you're not, then I do think you look at making a deal and adding on more draft picks, because you don't want them walking for nothing down the line. And what could you get for Jalen Johnson? If the Bears really didn't like this guy doesn't get enough turnovers, I don't like him. What do you think he's worth right now?
No, but all I'm saying is, look, you got to pinpoint who are the players that are going to see their value differently than the team. Okay, when I look at Cole Kmet,
you're right.
I think a deal comes together relatively quickly. I don't
Agreed.
think Cole Kmet is sitting there going, I should get paid like Travis Kelce.
Agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
And I think they're going to come to an agreement and all's going to be fine. I think the same thing probably with Darnell Mooney. Now, the only thing with Mooney I'm not sure of is, does he think, he needs to, because his third year went so poorly, does he need to have another year to prove it to get paid big time? That's kind of up to Mooney, I think. With Johnson, I just feel like it's with Roquan. I think, with the exception of positional value, obviously corner is a premium position, but is Jalen Johnson a top 10 corner in the league?
I'd have to break down that list, but I think he's close. I think he's right in there.
Okay.
Do you disagree?
I'm not sure. I know he's not top 5. I know he's not somebody I consider.
Yeah, keep going.
I don't consider Jalen Johnson lockdown, travel all over the field. Remember Devontae Adams thing 2 seasons ago?
I disagree.
Who did he square off with Jalen at the end of the year?
What's that?
A.J. Brown. I do think he is locked down. Him versus A.J. Brown in the Eagles game. A.J. did get the one catch. It was a well-contested catch, too, by the way. That is who he is. I do think he can chase the best wide receivers around and give them all they've got. They're it's a passing league, so they're going to get beat. Any corner is going to get beat. But I do think Jalen Johnson is a top-tier cornerback. Now, is he top 10? I don't know. I'd have to go through the rest of the league.
Well,
I'm looking at the Bears. I think he is a very, very good corner.
He played great in that game. You're absolutely right. He was graded out as a blue-chip player in that game. Absolutely. I'm bringing up the things that happen at the negotiating table. And I just am not convinced that the Bears and Jalen Johnson are going to see the value completely the same.
I think you're spot on. I think there could very well be an issue there. However, I think Jalen Johnson's also a fairly rational guy.
Yeah.
And if they make him a fair offer, I think he'll most likely sign. By the way, Darnell Mooney just changed representation. He's now with
St. Omni.
He is not with Same On Me. He is with Athletes First. Among the clients at Athletes First that are Bears includes Justin Fields, includes Chase Claypool. So somebody was getting in his ear, hey, come on over here. Larry Borum also is with Athletes First. I don't know if this matters at all, but it is worth noting that he has made a switch. Other notable NFL guys, Micah Parsons is in there.
That does not matter what you're saying.
You don't think it matters at all?
No, it matters that you switch. You don't need to read off the client's
And I think
book.
people in the chat bring up a good
I
point.
like these names.
What are
I want to know these represented by a
No, it does matter that he changed because this is negotiating time. You're 3 years in the league. You're eligible for an extension. You change agents. That's absolutely notable, and that's interesting. By the way, my answer on this is I agree with everybody in the comments, too, saying they got to stop shedding, getting rid of talent. I would find a way to extend Kmet, Mooney, and Johnson if I can. I'm just saying with Johnson, I think there might be a difference in value that they see, and I think I do too.
And the edge, by the way, they could have in extending these guys now is you could pay them. You have so much cap room. You could pay a ton up front to keep yourself with as much flexibility down the line when you're going to have to pay Justin Fields, hopefully, unless things go woefully wrong. So a lot of times bad organizations like let's kick the can down the road and pay him as little as possible now, and we'll pay him on the back end and we'll figure it out then. I hope they get out in front of it. Let's figure out who we're going after. Let's get them in the fold, pay them as much up front. Let's pay our own guys as much up front, and let's keep as much flexibility on the back end. That's what they should be trying to do, which I'm sure I would think logically they would do.
Well, and I think, what the players say holds a lot of weight as a fan. Yeah, at the negotiation table, production's going to come up. But when Aaron Rodgers says he's an elite corner, when Cooper Kupp, somebody brought it up in the chat, and I do remember Cooper Kupp saying that Jalen Johnson was the best corner he faced all season 2 years ago. Like, these are guys, when we talk about Justin Fields and players after the games talking about how great he is, that holds a lot of weight.
If you were the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, wouldn't you want to inflate all the
I get the little
all
mind
your opponents
tricks
on your division rivals?
I always wonder, are they that calculated? That's just so...
Yeah, Jalen Johnson, greatest cornerback I've ever faced in my entire career. Bears stuck with a $100 million cap.
I think Cooper was being genuine, and there's 50-50 with your point with Rodgers. Because Rodgers is calculated, but he was probably being genuine too.
Did he tell Pat McAfee
I don't think
that?
he's worried about who the Bears sign or don't sign. Anything he's, So, I think that holds weight as far as who he actually is as a player outside of his production. But, yeah, I do understand that it's not going to be like as easy as maybe it will be to sign Cole Kmet to an extension.
We're all making it out like Kmet just like, oh, really? You'll offer me this? I'm in.
Well, yeah.
He might want to slightly bet on himself, but I think he's quite happy here, and he also knows that he hasn't exactly completely lit the world on fire in his 3 years, so maybe they can get it done. Yes, Braggs?
Enrique Rivera asked in the chat, hey, Braggs, you know the beer vendor on the 100-level concourse in front of DMK? Like, I know everyone thinks I know everybody in the stadium, but that is wildly specific.
Carm?
Yeah, what is
Carm's a former beer vendor.
What does he look like, Enrique? Early guess. I need.
There's also a really good super chat for you, Braggs. We'll get to that at some point. I know we got to do ads.
I just thought it was just a funny, specific question. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
A couple super chats saved.
Adam will be surprised that I don't know the beer level on the 100 level course in front of the DMK stand.
That doesn't surprise me at all. You only know the crazy fans that they show on TV.
Yeah.
Those are the guys.
They're Mysterio.
Yeah. That's your
Shout
people.
out Mysterio.
Shout out to Howard Cadet naming vendors. Let's do there. Howard is a great. He drives the garbage truck during the day, sells T-shirts and vends at night, makes himself a decent living cobbling it together, and is a complete lunatic. HK, I think it sounds like you on that 100 level. Continue on, Adam Hoge.
The Kmet Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities we serve manage energy usage, lower energy bills now and into the future. Kmet offers a wide array of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across our territory. Customers can inquire about how to upgrade outdated lighting to energy and money-saving efficient LED lights. Learn more about network lighting to operate your lights through your mobile device and track your facility's energy usage and more. Incentives have recently increased for indoor and outdoor lighting and network lighting controls, making these projects even more cost-effective than before. Visit ComEd.com/poweringbiz, B-I-Z, now to start saving money and energy. To start a project, Call 1-855-433-2700 for more information. Email business at Kmet.com or public sector at Kmet.com.
Kmet, we love you so much.
Sound like a dolphin.
I believe dolphin, seagull. It's some sort of animal near the ocean.
I wish I was by the ocean. We didn't already establish that.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Are you taking a vacation this offseason?
Pretty big off season to take a vacation.
More than Paris for 3 days.
We will hold down the fort for you, buddy.
I'll be taking a vacation, but that's me.
You deserve one, Lawrence, as does everyone around
The
here.
only vacation I have planned right now is around work. The owners' meetings in March, and the flights. I looked them up yesterday. Are $1,400. What is going on in the world right now?
Where are the owners' meetings?
Phoenix.
And what are the dates?
When are they?
So
the
glad-
last week of March.
Oh no,
I'll
really?
tell you what. Instead of flying,
That's
Adam,
spring break.
I
That's
know,
not
because
planned.
that's when another
no.
thing. I'm sorry you have to get Poppy the puppy to the groomer, but like Poppy the puppy can go on vacation any day of the year. Poppy Puppy's on vacation.
you know what would be a
Why
lot
did
of fun?
Poppy the puppy get thrown into the owners' meeting?
Because the kids only have one damn week they can go on spring break because that's when they're off school, and then so the airlines put flights up to $1,500.
Just think how fun it would be to do a cross-country road trip with Mark and I all the way to Phoenix.
The last week on the 26th to 31st.
I mean, hell, I might be driving. I don't know. I didn't know that.
I mean,
1,400.
It's nuts. It is
just wait it out. It'll.
stop.
You know what was
But
crazy?
I know my mom and dad are probably listening.
we can
to
stop
this
at
or
the
watching.
Grand Canyon.
Here's what I don't understand. I've never seen this. The first class tickets were $1,200.
Oh.
How is that cheaper?
Oh no.
That just shows you that they're price gouging.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, I'm looking at the handy dandy Southwest, and it's not an easy flight there, buddy.
Can't do Southwest with a child.
Yes, you can.
Eh.
I've seen many children on Southwest. They do a great job.
I know that whole
You families board first. You go up there. They'll put you on.
Oh.
You get any seat you want, pal.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm sitting here
I feel like
stumping
we
for
have
Southwest Airlines, but
I think we have an actual ad read to do, don't we? Something about
we
meat.
do.
Meat
And
sticks.
thank you, Lawrence. If you are hungry, if you are looking to be healthy, if you are looking to be well fed, yes.
Yes.
Well, then you should. Greenridge Farm, we love you. We enjoy your product. Your local meat and cheese company is offering you a better all-natural option that we love here at CHGO. The makers of all-natural deli meat, sausages, and, of course, the famous meat sticks. Perfect for tailgating. Can't wait for our next tailgate. Can't get here soon enough. Happy hour, school lunches. That's not true. I can really use the summer. These all-natural meat sticks are hardwood smoked for 8 hours, 16 grams of protein per stick. Braggs. More sticks. The meat sticks come in chicken, black forest beef, and flavors like jalapeno, cheddar, and spicy chili. So right now, when you order any 3 meat products, and there are so many good ones to choose from at greenridgefarm.com, any 3, greenridgefarm.com, and you include those meat sticks in your cart, meat sticks free. Use that code CHGO at checkout. Bruh. T. Aaron.
Bruh.
He's dropping bruhs in the chat.
Oh, okay.
GreenridgeFarm.com.
Yeah. Ben, nobody's going after Jalen Johnson here. I like Jalen Johnson. I'd like to extend Jalen Johnson. I think that was well said.
The only people going at Jalen Johnson is, I believe, T. Aaron in the chat, who called him a bum, I think.
I don't think he is. And we made this mistake the last time the Bears were rebuilding. And, like, the thing that happens is you have a bad roster, and so you have a couple good players, and you're like, those are the best players ever, when really someone actually brought this up on Twitter. How many of those 4 players that we were just talking about extending would be starting for any of the teams playing this weekend? I think, by the way, I think Jalen Johnson would be.
Jalen Johnson is, I mean, maybe Mooney starts for, I have to go through it.
I mean, he's not starting in San Francisco.
He's not starting in San
Philly.
Francisco.
He's not starting for Cincinnati.
Is Kmet starting for any of the teams?
I mean, is he starting for the Chiefs? I mean,
He might start for the Chiefs.
They have a weird.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs
receiver
would
room.
use the hell out of Mooney.
Yeah.
I think they would like him.
Yeah.
But it's another interesting way. And actually, Robert says, remember letting Amos go, Adrian Amos. That's actually the perfect example of somebody that I like. Let's not overrate Adrian Amos. Adrian Amos was a good player, but I'm not sure the Bears actually ever really missed him. They brought in guys that Adrian Amos was solid for the Packers, but was never like any type of all-pro player.
I liked him.
No, he just, again,
Right.
yes, you like him. He's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you probably had a nice conversation in the locker room with him.
But the Packers,
I never bonded.
the Packers probably overpaid for him when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, I think your point is well taken where we as fans tend to overrate our guys. And also when a guy has a career year, a young player, we think that that's only the beginning and not their ceiling, you know?
Right.
You look at Darnell Mooney, and I like Darnell Mooney a lot.
He got 4 years and 36 with 12 guaranteed. That's not exactly.
But we
Adrian
looked
Amos?
at him.
Yeah, but you had Eddie Jackson.
He
You
had
to-
1,200 yards receiving 2 years ago with Allen Robinson lined up next to him. And then this year, yes, there was a lot of issues with the offense, and then he had the injury. He has less than 500 yards and only 2 touchdown catches. And there are some fans that went into this season saying he's a number one and he's going to show you. And, you know, that's where we look, oh, well, he had 1,200 yards last year, and now the mean old Matt Nagy's gone. And once he's gone, Mooney's going to do even better. And I think sometimes we fall into that trap as fans with all our Chicago sports teams where we don't consider the ceiling. We always think it's going to continue to climb.
You know who also falls in that trap? General managers. They like their own guys too much. And we can look at how many teams in the city right now that probably applies to. Bulls, White Sox. And it's like,
Cubs, at least back in the day, they held on to their guys too long.
it's like,
You got to make decisions.
don't be afraid to go out and get legitimate studs. That's what you need.
Right, but then you got to swim in the deep end of the pool and be willing to pay. And in the Bears' case, for numerous reasons, you might have to overpay. 1, you're not quite ready to win. 2, you play outdoor in the cold. 3, I don't think anybody's banging down the door to be like, I got to play for the Floos.
So they should play inside.
Oh,
I've punted on that.
I'm not trying to
I want that sweet ass stadium. And we had a conversation today about we're working on my background at home, and the plan has been crystallized as to what I'm getting.
And I'm not trying to bait a tirade with you, Adam, but I think David Montgomery falls in that trap when it comes to.
Carm was literally mid-sentence.
I don't care.
No, but I
don't care.
But I appreciate his not caring, and I also appreciate I don't mean to bait a tirade. I don't know if anyone's ever said that before. I then kind of enjoy that phrasing.
So in
You're
other words,
enjoying
that
my
means he's
verbiage.
trying to bait me into a tie.
Yeah, well, because I just think I wasn't listening because I was like, I'm gonna get this point out.
Okay.
But yeah, I just think Montgomery falls into that label with Bears fans. I think
I agree with you, which is why
we overrate him as a player. He's the heart. You know, he's a hard-working player, a lot of heart, a lot of soul, all that stuff.
You
but
should love him, you ungrateful jerk.
There's the tirade. I just think 800 yards.
He's a brick by brick running back. You don't even know who you are anymore.
I mean, I 100% agree with Braggs on this because, like, and I'm going to bring Arsenal up, but I've, over the years, always, the guys that are, like, the young guys that you see them play in these fringe matches and they're doing really well, you always want them to succeed and you want them to stay on the team, and you kind of get, like, upset if they're going to think about sending them off to some other team. But at the same time, like you're saying, would these guys actually play in another big club? So, like, the Bears are in the same place. Is Montgomery really worth our time as, like, wanting him to stay? I don't know.
depends on the price. Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
like if this is a different year, Montgomery's a top this version of Montgomery's the number one running back on the market, and there's another team that's going to pay him, $12 million a year, I'd be like, yeah, no, go away.
See
but that's not the situation at all. And I think that, so if it's the right price, you bring him back. But as I've said many times, even as being usually don't pay running backs a lot of money guy, this might be the one situation where I would actually consider Saquon Barkley.
So, and that pissed me off yesterday because I was hearing, I forget exactly, I think it might have been our guy Dan Weeder, or so it's like, and maybe, and I think you're speaking logically, that you can bet that the Bears are not going to be in on Saquon Barkley because that's not a position that they would pay money for.
And that was somebody on Twitter said that to me yesterday too. It was like, if they're not going to re-sign Roquan, why would they pay big money for Saquon?
Right.
I kind of agree with it.
Yeah, no, and I agree that they probably won't, but that it annoys me because you can't, or maybe you can, but I wouldn't just box in. These are the positions I'd pay, and these are the positions I won't, versus just actually looking at the player and how much impact he can have on the football field no matter what position he plays. Saquon Barkley is an elite offensive player. There aren't many of them available.
Right. And especially because and this is why I think it's such a fascinating discussion, Carm, because what you just said is very interesting. There's not a lot of skill position players out there right now to go get.
Right.
The wide receivers suck in free agency. I shouldn't say that, but it's not a good free agent class.
There's nothing super exciting there.
Same thing in the draft. And it's like, so where are you going to – ultimately, this game's about putting the football in the hands of dynamic players who can run faster and farther than the other players and get to the end zone.
Make people miss and say, wow.
Yeah, when you simplify it, and the Bears prove they're a pretty good rushing team. So –
that's the other thing. It's part of their skill set. If you have Fields in their RPO with Saquon, and then all of a sudden he's pulling it back, and then he's hitting a quick whatever Cole Kmet on a little slant, or he's in more sync with Darnell Mooney. All of a sudden the offense, how are you going to cover it? You got a lot of dudes who can do a lot of good things when the ball's in their hand.
Yeah,
I'm sign me up for that.
I totally agree.
I think when you hear Ryan Poles talk about positional value as much as he does, as cool as it would be to have Saquon Barkley on our team, I just don't think it's realistic that it will actually happen. I'd be all for it, though.
Your voice of reasonness is getting irritating.
Well, the season's over. I can't freak out in the postgame.
No, you're mostly, if I had to break down level of times your voice of reason versus non-voice of reason, you're more voice of reason. I just like it when you're not voice of reason.
Well, I
can't get excited about
something. Could have
something.
drank a bottle of Crown before you do that.
Well, when you were having your "I can't drive here today" conversation, I'm like, what do I got to do? We got to go to the bar afterwards. One cocktail, I'm in. Let's go. I got stuff. We got stuff to do here after the show. But
slam some Goose Island. Then I'll see how much of a voice of reason I am.
Love you, Goose.
All right, real quick. DraftKings, 4 NFL teams, 2 conference championship games, and only a few more shots to win big on the playoffs. With DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Counting down to Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5, get $200 in free bets instantly. And if you're not a new customer, you can feel the conference championship thrills with stepped-up same-game parlays. Take your shot at an even bigger NFL payout. Boost your winnings with each leg. You add up to 100%. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 on the conference championships. Get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Before I tell you about game time tickets, I just want to make sure that I don't forget. Last night before I went to bed, as I was thinking about my matchup tonight with I forget his name, but he's going down. And it's not Kirschenbaum tonight. I purchased that it will be arriving today by 10 o'clock tonight. Winning Ugly, Mental Warfare in Tennis, Lessons from a Master. So I think that's going to also play out on this show. I am
I don't know what you're doing.
Brad Gilbert. Let's go. You are taking me into the winning ugly mindset. And by the way, when I do make it to the USTA, if you wanted to buy tickets to see me, you should buy them on the Game Time ticket app, which is the hottest new ticketing site. Makes it easier than ever to score the best deals. Tickets to sports, concerts, shows, Hoge, doing something somewhere. You can buy tickets to that too. Listen, courtside, last row, they've got it all. The best price on the internet in the secondary market is at Game Time Tickets. And if you do want to support us here at CHGO, you can do it when you buy your Game Time tickets through the link in the description. We highly, very much, greatly appreciate when you do that. Look at how it just lays out for you. You see the row, you see the price, you see the value. I can do this here, I can do that there. It really does simplify it. I love looking at it, and I spend probably too much time doing it. 15 million people have downloaded the Game Time app. Score the best seats. You looking to go to any games right now, Hoge? You fired up on anything? No,
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, Blackhawks on roadie out west until the All-Star break. Bulls are, I think, also on the road for the next few. That game we were just looking at.
Next Bulls game,
the
tickets right now are
right?
$36. It's this next Tuesday.
Okay.
Bulls Clippers. Let's go Clippers. Let's get the Clips
Kawhi.
on in her.
He's back.
I put the Bulls game on last night, by the way, with 5 minutes to go and tortured myself.
You watched the worst part.
It was so bad.
I could just tell from Twitter how it was trending, and I didn't even turn it on. Yeah.
Can somebody get in a defensive stance with some significant intensity and just stop someone? That was a bad loss. Really bad loss. Too bad.
They got to do what Lawrence said the other day when it comes to basketball defense.
Ah, yes.
I don't think we want to repeat it.
We don't want to repeat that.
All up in
but
there.
that was good.
I kind of want him to repeat it.
No.
It's a
Hey,
bad- yeah, we could repeat it. But.
Before we get out of here, I want to talk quickly about the Coach of the Year finalists. And it was kind of weird because the NFL put out like a graphic or something this morning that had 5 coaches on it. The reality is there's only 3 finalists. And the finalists are Brian Daboll from the Giants, Kyle Shanahan from the 49ers, and Doug Peterson from the Jaguars.
Oh, so this graphic, the other 2 names were not actually. Oh, I built it off the names that I saw.
Yeah,
I put it in there, and
I just like the
I
picture.
took it right from Twitter, which is
Daboll.
never wrong.
It's actually not Carm's fault, though, because the NFL put this out with 5 coaches, and then the AP was like, yeah, but there's only 3 finalists.
Daboll's looking at it like, who are these other 2 jerks? Like,
But also, here's the thing. Daboll seems like he's probably going to win it. And I go back to what I brought up yesterday's show, which Nick tried to debunk incorrectly. The Giants finished 3-6-1. How do you win Coach of the Year?
There should be no debate on who the Coach of the Year is. It's Kyle Shanahan.
I agree with you 100%.
They've won 12 games in a row. They're in the NFC Championship game with the last pick in the draft, who I have said nice things about, but that just speaks to his system and their talent. Come on. This is a no-brainer.
1,000% agree with you. But here's what's so weird to me about it. This isn't just exclusive to the NFL. It's like most sports. Which is the team we didn't think was going to be good that ended up being good? That's the Coach of the Year. That's how Matt Nagy wins Coach of the Year, right? And instead it's like, what's wrong with how come Andy Reid doesn't get love for Coach of the Year ever?
Right.
He's probably Coach of the Decade, but he doesn't win Coach of the Year.
He should be Coach of the Year just for the ad where he's drawing mustaches on guys on the plane.
He lost Coach of the Year. I get your love for your respect for Andy, and that's fair.
I'm just saying he should be in the conversation,
He should.
and he doesn't even get mentioned.
He should. We haven't talked about this, but I just want to underline. Leaving Patrick Mahomes out there was moronic, Andy Reid, but I get that. I digress.
And they're not, yes, Brandon, how in the world is the Bengals coach not on there?
Exactly.
Completely agree.
Where
Zach Taylor. The defensive coordinator is not getting none of their coaches are getting any head coaching interviews. It makes no sense.
Yep, it's easy to go back to the bowl with the Bengals. The F out of here.
I don't understand it.
Joe Burrow.
And if Doug Peterson's getting love for the run the Jaguars went on to make the playoffs, why isn't our guy, the Lions head coach? Why am I blanking on his
Dan
name right now?
Campbell.
Dan Campbell. Why is Dan Campbell not? getting the same love.
They didn't make the playoffs.
Rational thought, Braggs.
They still won the game, though.
And they lost to the Panthers, or else they'd be in the playoffs.
But Dan Campbell did a great job this year. Dan Campbell should be on that list. Dan Campbell is adorable. I like Dan Campbell. I wish he was our coach, I'll be honest.
You're the first person to ever describe Dan Campbell as
you don't think
adorable.
that little the red nosy?
He literally probably eats raw meat.
It's probably the opposite.
There's an adorableness to somebody who just crushes a red meat with ketchup, which is probably how Dan Campbell does it. With that red nose of his, which
well
looks
done
like,
steak with ketchup.
Yeah.
Wait, is that Harbaugh? Who's the well done steak? No, that's Mahomes. Mahomes is the ketchup on steak guy. Yeah.
I don't like Mahomes anymore.
Yeah.
Just right there, that was it. I'm out on Mahomes.
You do have to grow up at some point. Like, your 10-year-old can have ketchup with steak. Do you have ketchup with steak?
No.
That was a 50-50 right there. It's definitely
It's not a no. It's a definite no. A1, but, if you're eating a good enough steak, you shouldn't need any sauce.
You don't need
Of
A1.
course.
Good seasoning.
Just give me maybe a little horseradish. Love a little horseradish. On
Well,
this.
that's the thing. I'm okay doing a nice crust on there. A little blue cheese crust, horseradish crust.
Hey, it's almost lunchtime, guys. We got a couple super chats to get to. Hint.
I know, all this talk about
Let's
food.
go fire through them.
All right. Well, first off, let's see. Let's actually start with Alan here. He said, this is a premium position I've never seen the Bears in. When was the last time they had 2 first-round draft picks? And yes, Justin is the guy. Now they don't have 2, right?
Wait.
We don't have 2
We
yet,
don't have 2 first-round draft picks yet.
but we will, Alan. And it is a premium position. You're absolutely right.
That's why I hope they trade back with the Panthers, because I want 2 first-round picks the next 2 years. Not this year, but next year and the year after next. That's what I'm asking from the Panthers.
I don't
I
disagree.
think that just sets up the Bears to have multiple
I've been
first-
seeing wild things out there, like the Colts will trade 4 and 35.
I don't think any of
year,
I don't think any of the trade back scenarios with the Texans at 2 or the Colts, I've yet to see any that to me are realistic. As much as I would like their extra first round pick from the Texans, I don't think that's going to happen. And with the Colts, I see a lot of packages being put together. I don't think any of those are realistic. What we could get from the Panthers at 9 is a more realistic conversation. To move up from 9 to 1 would take a big haul.
Who are you drafting?
At 9? I have no idea. And I am proud. I take a lot of pride in being able to say I have no idea. I was bringing up JSN because I like the idea of, getting Justin his guy at wide receiver. Now I'm seeing people's mock drafts having JSN going, in the 30s, and so that blows my mind. There's smarter people than me when it comes to this stuff. And
I'm just saying, I guess my point is just everybody wants these trades, and it's like you still have to draft the players, and they have to be
but I
good.
want to trust Ryan Poles that he can draft them.
Because GMs in this city have always been right.
Well, I thought Ryan Poles did a good job with the draft last year, so I do trust him going into this year's draft.
All right. Fair enough. I just the Bears, regardless of the trades, have to come out of this draft with a stud.
Skoronski is the one guy that does scare me. Everybody's like big on Skoronski, and I don't know. I think the tackle from Ohio State might be better than Skoronski.
Why do you got a dog on the Cats?
Well, that's why I'm looking at you, because you'd know better than me.
Yeah, I don't have a single fear at all about Skoronski.
I've never heard
He
anybody
just
say
locked down day one, Big Ten left tackle starter, never had an issue. I love that guy.
Never heard a bad word said about Skoronski until you just said a
one
bad
guy
word about
that
Skoronski.
intrigues me is Lucas Van Ness. I continue to look at him from Iowa. I didn't think he was going to be in the top half of the first round. Again, I see mock drafts that have him in the top half of the first
Do
round.
people like you really exist?
Yeah.
Are you really
Lucas Van Ness.
you're breaking down Van Ness? How do you have
Dude.
time to do that?
I'm not breaking him down. I see this stuff on Twitter. That's where I see it. And I saw him literally take Skoronski. Last week, who was the offensive lineman that got took for a ride by Micah Parsons? That's what Lucas Van Ness did to Skoronski. He took him for a ride.
These things, okay.
I know it happens.
All right, but okay,
I
I got a better understanding. And you read something on Twitter about Van Ness killing
Correct. I'm not
Skoronski.
breaking down
And
tape.
so now Skoronski
not a
sucks.
draft guru.
Skoronski sucks because somebody on Twitter pointed out Van Ness took him to town.
All right, DeBears85 threw us $5 super chat for us. Would addressing the line on both sides, adding a number one receiver, make the Bears go 500-ish and a possible wild card team from last to solid mid-tier team? And I think this dovetails off your Skoronski and Van Ness conversation just now.
It could.
That's gonna be the Twitter poll tomorrow, by the way. Biggest need.
They need a lot of help. But when you say addressing the line, I guess it's the level of how they address it. If they completely rebuild both, yes, they could be a 500 team next year, maybe. What's next?
You got to get better up front.
D-Man Shy, $5, thank you. How can Coach of the Year not be Pete Carroll with the job he did with Seattle?
It's a good call.
When we played them in the preseason, they looked like the worst team, period. Remember, yeah, we thought the Bears were good after playing them.
No. Let's not change the narrative. Nobody thought the Bears were good.
In your pocket?
Nobody thought the Bears were good.
Hold on a minute.
I admittedly thought Seattle was the crappiest football team I'd ever seen in my life after that game because I knew how bad the Bears were.
I mean, except all I know is we did our Bears records. Was it after that game or was it after the next week? All I know is you said 9-8.
No,
or
I
8-9.
8. I said anywhere between 7 and 9.
I don't know. The graphic said 8-9 for you, and
Ooh,
it said
before the season.
Yeah, and
he had them winning 9.
And someone named Will DeWitt said 11-6. So we were a little high on the.
Will
Bears
was the
after.
only one that thought they were good. Saying a team could win 8 games is not saying they're good.
All right, fine.
Anyways,
thoughts on Pete Carroll as Coach of the Year option?
I think he absolutely deserves to be mentioned as somebody who did a really good job this year. See you later, Russell Wilson. We will roll with Geno Smith and make the playoffs. Stick it.
Same thing though. They kind of fell off the map late. I know they still made the playoffs, but like weren't they 5-2 or something at one point?
I think it's Doug Peterson. I mean, you have the first pick in the draft. You come from Urban Meyer. You take this team to the playoffs. They win a playoff game. I don't know if that goes into the...
Why is what Doug Peterson did better than what Dan Campbell did?
Because they made the playoffs and won a playoff game.
So if Dan Campbell's in the AFC...
It's pretty simple math.
If
the
Lions are in the AFC South, they win that division.
And Dan Campbell's been with the Lions longer. This dude comes in his first year after the Urban Meyer crap show that was and turns that around.
How do you not turn that around after Urban Meyer?
Yeah, exactly.
Go from the first pick in the draft to the playoffs and win a playoff game.
Who would you rather?
Lions haven't won a playoff game in
1992.
Good point from
30
Torian.
years.
Also says the Jaguars spent like $190 million.
Thank you, Torian.
Right, and when the Bears do the same thing the Jags did, we're giving Coach of the Year to the Floos.
Woo, Floos.
Hey,
next year is Coach of the Year. Let's go.
Who would you rather have as your quarterback, Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff? Don't look at me like that.
Of course, Trevor Lawrence.
Well, there you go. And by the way, people are like, I'm not really sure that Trevor is going to be, because he threw 4 interceptions in his first play. Trevor Lawrence is going to be awesome. Trevor Lawrence is awesome.
All these people in the chat, one person's like, Carm's sick of Braggs. Greg's making fun of, like, we all hate each other up here. I don't know how that's conveyed.
I'll never be sick of Braggs.
All right.
Literally never.
I might be sick of you guys, but that's just me. Isaac has the best one of the day here. He said, this is $20 from Isaac. Thank you, Isaac. Hey, this is random, but is Braggs union? When the project starts on the new stadium, I'm planning on signing Book 2 Traveler to work on it. Maybe we could work on it together, or I could provide construction updates as time goes on.
What does that mean?
And I'll throw in a hashtag
He's
brick
not.
by brick,
I don't think
but
he is union. You can speak to your life better than I can.
Yeah, I'm not.
Though.
Thanks for jumping in, though, Carl.
yeah, what are you doing?
I'm
He's
residential,
right
so we're not
so
union
ridiculous.
in Indiana. It's a residential company. But I'm happy to build the stadium out of brick. It'll take me 18 years to finish.
I'm good with that. Let's play out the whole lease.
Brick by brick, baby, for 18 years.
As long as we keep doing
Who's
tailgates on the south side.
Carm's mixing the mud.
I think you're sitting on a gold mine, though, with the brick juice.
I
That should be you got to start selling brick juice. That's got to be it. That's the business.
I'm selling hope here on the CHGO Bears show.
Does that help you?
We're selling bullshit. One of
I
the
need
two.
a vacation.
I had a great time today. I could do the show again if they'd let us, but they won't until
You need
tomorrow.
to do the Cubs show.
Yeah, Cubs, just stick around right there. Cubs
But I
is
do
coming
think
in
it's a
10
good
minutes.
idea going forward, Hoge, if you just threaten to, the chat that they have to listen to me or Mark ramble for 15 minutes if it doesn't hit 100 likes. That strategy worked. Got to give it a
telling
shot.
you.
145 likes. And if you want to
166,
hear me
that's it. We're
ramble
still
for
going.
another 30 minutes, you better get it up to 200.
Well, no,
One-
we can't. We got Cubs in 10
Oh, I'm
minutes,
sorry.
15 minutes.
Go Cubs, go! Scott Rowland sucks. Go Cubs,
We
go!
will hold
No,
this studio hostage.
the Hall of Very Good.
Get it up to 200.
You got blasted by the Mark Grace comparison, though.
A lot of people agreed, for the record, and I don't understand what's confusing about that tweet. For the record, I didn't say that Mark Grace belonged in the Hall of Fame. I just said if you're putting Scott Rowland in, you might as well throw Mark Grace in there too, Mr. Singles hitting first baseman.
People,
I wouldn't save it for the Cubs podcast. Luke's ready to go.
are you doing the Cubs spot?
I'm not doing the Cubs podcast, but they're going to talk about this tweet.
I got
I'm
Tim
happy.
Stebbins coming on today, special guest. So I got to reset the set. So
Okay.
let's get you guys out of here.
Lawrence is kicking us out.
Stay out of
Luke
Cubs
said
business.
stay out of Cubs business. That's so
Rolling. You want to answer Shannon Green's thing next few
I
weeks?
actually kind of do, but yeah, he said he's in Chicago for few weeks.
Best steakhouse.
Best steakhouse? Question mark.
Gina Giorgetti's is a good call, Shannon, if you want to go old school.
Chicago cut.
What?
You know,
Chicago cut.
Chicago
I'll
Cut. I
throw
thought you
out
said
there.
cut. Chicago Cut's very popular.
Tango Sir up by Wrigley, the Argentinian.
If you wanna just a weird, I don't know about weird, but a sort of yes.
I like Harry Carey's.
Harry's is delicious.
Hi.
I think it's a
Mastro-
great atmosphere. I prefer to sit in the bar area, just hang out, have a good steak.
I
The lamb chops there are great too.
Harry's is Joe's is fantastic.
you know
too.
my
If you're in that
daughter's
atmosphere.
middle name is Grace.
How about Bavette's?
Huh?
Bavette's.
Bavette's is primo. That's more hip for the cool people, like Casey would go there.
How about Swift?
That's
Swift
why
and
I'm
Sons.
shaking my head like I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Bavette's is right. Is
Swift and Sons right over here.
You can't go wrong. It's
You really can't.
5
Anyways.
minutes ago, he was kicking us off the set.
Yeah, now we're
he's
talking
just
about food. It's
whistling-
because I'm hungry. All right, we gotta go. We gotta go. Come on, let's get out of here.
just. And by the way, for Message Steakhouse, quit charging so much. It's $75. Come on.
That goes for everything, including.
We don't need to pay $28 for a side of
I
asparagus.
don't need to pay $1,400 to fly to Phoenix.
I got you. You got to fly out on Monday and come back the following Monday or Tuesday.
Not gonna work.
Not gonna work. So that's my solution.
All right, keep hitting that like button. Subscribe
Kata
to our
gets his
channel.
exceptional substance.
All CHGO.
5-star reviews on Spotify, please.
Oh, yeah.
5-star on Apple.
Spotify. Our Spotify listeners, if you could hook us up with the 5-star, it would be huge. We would love you to the end of earth, and I'll hook you up with my Northwestern hoop tickets. Yep, big game.
You've promised those to a lot of people.
Nobody wants them apparently.
We're out of here. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon.